Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. Such an excellent quote by Rumi. I picked it from LinkedIn post by Amit Nagpal and he's here today to talk about change. Hi, I'm Prashant, a learning enthusiast, and you are listening to the Relearning Podcast. Today we have Amit Nagpal to take us through basics of change management and why is it required. Amit calls himself a holistic leadership enabler. He is a ATD master trainer, a coactive coach, and has many such decorated certifications on his portfolio. Post working for several global organizations like GSK, GE, Wipro, and Infosys BPM, close for 30 years, Amit established his dream talent development practice called Pursuiteka Learning Solutions in 2016. Amit works with individuals, small and medium enterprises, startups, and global organizations, enabling them to become more agile, efficient, and successful via impactful leadership programs, practices, tools, and resources, and so many such interventions. Welcome to the show, Amit.
Hey, thanks, Prashant, for having me. Thank you.
Hey, first things first, and I've been itching to ask this, what does Pursuitica mean?
Well, you will not be able to find any meaning on Google, so let me explain this to you.
Sure.
It starts. It's a subset of three words: pursuit, curiosity, and action. So that's
Okay.
been my life credo as well, Prashant. So I've always pursued new ideas, new thought processes. I've always been curious. And by just staying curious and just pursuing your ideas is not enough. You also have to act on them. You have to revisit and you have to keep evolving. So that's what Pursuitica is all about.
That's a very intelligent icebreaker. I'm sure this has opened doors for you.
Yes, it has. Yeah, it has. Thank you.
Superb. And coming to the topic, why is change management required? And what is that one thing that we need to relearn about change management?
Well, this is a question which has been, which has become alive over the last 1 year, ever since the epidemic struck our
Right.
planet. Just to look at how do we define change management? It's a process that helps ease any organizational or business transitions. In short, it helps people to change. Right? It helps in aiding that change, uh, and in a sense, it helps employees to understand, to commit, to accept, and embrace changes in their current business environment. Right. So
Right.
that's what change management is all about. Yeah.
Exactly 1 year back when the pandemic hit, a lot of people, and including us, right, we were taken aback in terms of how will I do things now with this, restriction in time, availability of things. I'm still talking personal. At office, people were taken aback, or there was a expectation that there is a certain way of doing things, as simple as getting to a team meet was so much easier and fun. But and that's the interesting thing about humans. Appreciate that the way we evolve and adapt, right?
Yeah.
What has that
Absolutely.
experience been for you individually and also working with so many brands?
Well, Prashant, it's a very reflective question, and if I look back over the last 1 year, I'm looking at it as a year which has been full of introspection, full of as Rumi says, since I closely follow Rumi,
Right.
it's allowed my water to settle, and he says when you allow waters to settle, you can see a reflection of sun, moon, and stars in your being. And it has allowed me to cool down. It has allowed me to focus on my writing. It has allowed me to focus on things that need to be sharpened, uh, areas where I need to read a lot more. It has allowed me to not to chase things, but to deepen my own concepts, deepen my own thought
Right.
processes,
Yeah.
and it has been a very fulfilling experience. I must say that, and the same goes with the corporates, with organizations who have chosen this rather than cribbing about
Hmm.
what epidemic has done to them. They've chosen the right mindset. They've adapted the right mindsets
Yeah.
in terms of, is there an opportunity for us to diversify? Let's explore it. Look at Asian Paints. They've diversified into hygiene and safety products like sanitizers, special paints, masks, PP suits, etc. ITC, again, a large FMCG organization tying up with Domino's, the pizza guys
Yeah.
to help with logistics. Mahindra and Mahindra, they came up with ventilators.
Hmm.
They already use a similar technology for air conditioning in their vehicles. So ventilators for hospitals and small nursing homes. I'm taking this podcast from WeWork, one of the shared facilities, one of the well-known shared facilities in our
Yeah.
country. And this morning, when I walked into their office, what I found was that they have adapted so well to the reality of the world. Of course,
Yeah.
they've had, like hospitality industry, they've had a hit in their walk-ins. So they're very flexible. They came up with flexible price points, and I was able to negotiate even a better price point
Hmm.
for a simple reason that the lady who was helping me was open to my thought processes. She was very confident. There was poise and a sense of commitment towards not letting me step out of the place, not letting me go. She said, Amit, give me some time. Let me talk to my seniors and
Yeah.
get you something.
Right.
Uh, want you to benefit from our services. And we were able to negotiate it very amicably. And
Yeah.
the reason I'm giving you this example is quick decisions. The organizations who are able to embrace change are the ones who have been able to demonstrate agility,
Yeah.
ability to take quick decisions, organizations who have given their employees uh, some bit of ownership in terms of decision making. These are the organizations who are doing much better than the organizations who are still
Yeah.
struggling with their top line and bottom line.
I think everybody's witnessed that, right? And you chose the word agility. Talking about big corporates, we have noticed that in the pandemic or otherwise also over the period of time, organizations who have shown agility have survived. If you have to summarize some common themes around what have these organizations done in your experience with so many brands, what would those top three things be that they have embraced change by doing these three things, or what are those common themes of change?
Well, it's very interesting, Prashant. You spoke about larger organizations and smaller organizations. Look at your local grocers as well. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy who brings you fruits and vegetables as well. They have adapted to change. So
Yeah.
it's across. So my the gentleman who delivers vegetables and fruits for us is on WhatsApp. So we send him our orders. We write down what we need and send him a scan picture, and he organizes that, and he's using GPay and all other digital
Yeah.
platforms.
Yeah.
So I think, the common point is that it's humans who are driving change, be it small organization
Yeah.
or mom and pop shop or a large and diversified global organization. Um, Creative thinking, strategic thinking, and looking at a larger picture in a holistic way, and having that connect and that empathy. These are the common points that I see. These are the common competencies that I see being demonstrated in action
Mhm.
across all levels. And critical thinking. We use a lot of fancy terms, but end of the
Yeah.
day, it's all about multiple perspectives. Looking at uh, what can I do to make sure that not only I should survive, but also make sure that there is a win-win that happens. Let me not be too demanding, and let me
Mm.
be more real, and let me understand the emotions of my customer or emotions of my employee. So those are the
Okay.
elements. The people side is so very important.
Interesting. So,
Yeah.
could you throw a little light on critical thinking?
So first and foremost, uh, to me, it's that every conversation has to be humanized. Uh, so
Hmm.
f- I, so treat your conversations as you're dealing with emotions of the other person, not only yours, but the other person with whom you're interacting, or the teams that you're interacting with. So slow down with the way you think, and gather perspectives of others. So when we say empathy, when we talk about emotional intelligence, we are saying understand the perspective. The WeWork example, which is so fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
She was very calm, and she said, "Don't worry, sir, can you just wait in the lounge? Why don't you grab yourself a cup of coffee?" Rather than saying that I need to take permission from my seniors. So she
Right.
says, "Allow me some time to come back to you." So basically, it's about um, humanizing our conversations. It's about slowing our response time, and we really don't have to be always quick thinkers and quick to respond.
Mm, mm.
Take your time, take multiple perspectives in time, minimize your agendas. So the body language was so clear, saying, even if you don't buy our service, I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not able to offer you the
Right.
kind of price point,
Yeah.
I'm still there to help you. You must get a good experience after visiting our place. So minimize your agendas, or giving a spin, understanding the emotional concept, the component of it rather, and reconciling differences or inconsistencies with even with data and sources. Many times we get into arguments saying, this is what my Excel sheet says, or this is what the data is. We get stuck into those kind of ideas, and you cannot move beyond if you
Yeah.
get stuck with just data. So focus on your why, focus on
Mm.
why you're doing what you're doing, what do you have to offer, and look at how. Invite people in your agenda, right?
Yeah.
Invite, hey, can you share your thought processes? I'm sorry I didn't allow you to
Uh,
share your thought process. Let's
yeah.
let's
Yeah.
hear you. So when we
Interesting.
do that, you're
Beautiful.
really getting deeper into
Yeah.
your thinking before
And
you make any judgments.
and historically speaking, Amit, and I'm sure you know of this for many brands, is that organizations who keep people at the center have always thrived, survived. What is your take on organizations which have people at center and they think like, because you spoke of inclusivity, you spoke of people. So what is your take on people centered organization?
Yeah, so it is like I said, humanize our conversations. It's all about people, and people are at the center of all that we do. And organizations who thrive on people centricity are the ones who are able to provide long-term employment, who are able to provide careers for life
Yeah.
for their employees. And when we talk about people centricity, people, leaders that come top of my mind are people like the founder of Starbucks, Howard Schultz.
Yeah.
Remember last year there was an incident in the US where two customers were not treated very well, and and uh, and Howard Schultz, when he got to know about it, he flew down to that city and personally apologized to these customers. And not only did he apologize, he said there's something that's missing in the way we are training our people. And he shut down the stores for almost a week across the globe. Um, and to
Okay.
retrain people, to retool them on emotional intelligence, to retrain them on empathy, diversity, inclusivity. And look what Starbucks is doing. Even in pandemic, they have thrived, they have
Yeah.
survived, they have
Yeah.
thrived. And so there are several such examples. And I'm so grateful to have served organizations such as Wipro, such as GE, Spectramind, Infosys, who've had one thing common across, which is about what can we do for our people? How can we build careers for life for them? How can we empower them? How can we retool them, retrain them? Infosys, as an example,
Yeah.
we are talking about pandemic in 2008 when there was a global meltdown. Our then former CEO, Mr. Mohandas Pai, said. Um, uh, we have enough resources with us to keep our people trained, and he ensured that all our engineers and all our BPM resources are trained, and the engineering stream, if you know, the training lasts 6 months. In
Yeah.
fact, he enhanced the training investments even during meltdown, because he believed that by investing in people, we'll be able to come back to
Wow.
we'll be able to jump back into our revenue model quickly. And that's those are the kind of organizations I've served, and I completely resonate with organizations. I believe these are the organizations who really build career for life. Yeah. So yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. You spoke of leadership and you spoke of Starbucks. What exactly is holistic leadership?
Well, holistic leadership is all about moving from doing to being, and giving respect to both. Unfortunately, um, in our college education system, in the organizations, we celebrate victories like revenue numbers achieved,
Right.
or client satisfaction scores being met. And so that's what I call as the doing part. Yeah.
Hmm.
I've graduated from this college. I've earned recognition at this organization. I've become a vice president now. I've become a CEO of this company. And these are all the outer elements of what we as human beings, we aspire for. We want to grow. And it's important to look at the outer things. It's important to focus on your outer work. However, what we are not teaching in our schools and colleges and in our corporations enough and more is the inner work. And what do I mean by inner work?
Uh-huh.
It's again the critical thinking that we were talking about
Right.
is an inner journey. It's an inner work. When we do work mindfully, when we eat mindfully, when we speak and interact mindfully, that's the inner work. When we dedicate some moments of reflection for ourselves, when we maintain a diary of our thoughts, it could be a physical diary, it could be a digital diary. When we socialize with networks, we nurture our networks. When we interact with people the way I'm interacting with you right now, learning from you, learning from your experiences, sharing from each other's experiences, now that's where innovative ideas get triggered.
Mm.
That's where innovation comes from. Unfortunately, we are not doing enough and more of that, and that's what I call is the inner work. So when we couple the inner work with the outer work, and we draw uh, our nourishment from our experiences, from the efforts that we are putting in building relationships, the efforts that we put in our academic side, when we go back to our academia, when we go back to our mentors, we nurture our learning. So when we do all these three things, we focus on our inner work, we focus on our outer work, we nurture our inner and outer journey. When we do this collectively, that's where we are able to create satisfying work for us. I've interviewed more than 300 leaders, including business management students, over the last 4 years. And my research very clearly says that everyone, right from junior levels to the CEO of the companies, looking for some meaning, looking for some purpose in their lives,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
But we are not investing enough time and energies and focus. And that's what holistic leadership is all about. And a very long answer to your question,
No,
but I
that's
hope
good.
I'm able to explain it. Yeah.
Superb. And thanks for that. So I'm going back to, because again, even holistic leadership or anything for that matter, and we've spoken, we've experienced change. Where does this process begin?
Where does it begin? It begins from you deciding to make a meaning out of yourself. It begins from you. You have to take I have to take ownership of our life. uh, what kind of life experiences do we want for ourselves? What kind of legacy we want to leave for ourselves when we leave this planet? The decisions have to be made by us, and then we have to stay committed. This reminds me of a story. I mean, a real life incident. when I was struggling with my business initially, when I moved out of the corporate world to set up my own learning practice. And here I was in San Francisco meeting a prospective client over a cup of coffee at one of the hotels there. And he was a consultant. He's a consultant with a very large company. And during my conversation, he said, and that's how Americans are, as you would know, Prashant, very direct, very straightforward. And I love them for being that, for being who they are. And he said, Amit, these are the 5 reasons why I can't, promote your product or buy your product. But
Right.
guess what? What you're saying is making a lot of sense. You're onto something. Don't drop the ball. Honor your commitment. So he didn't buy my product, but he gave me $1 million advice, Prashant. So when we decide what we want to do, we must honor that decision of ours, and that's where the change happens. That's where you start experiencing change. And in the words of Dr. Carol Dweck, who's done a lot of work in this area, and she came up with her theory of saying, we need to have a mindset of growth, uh, and
Yeah.
the growth mindset theory. And she says that you have to embrace challenges. You have to look at what can you do differently in case you face any setback. You have to you have to persist. You have to see your efforts as a path to mastery. Invest in your domain skills, invest time, become master of the domain that you've chosen, and be open to criticism. A lot of us are not open to criticism. We ignore useful or negative feedback and find lessons and inspirations in the success of others. And that's what I continue to say, that network more, talk to people, embrace change, not for the sake of the fact that everybody's talking about change, but to progress forward, to honor your own dreams, to honor your own commitments. And I find Dr. Carol's work very fulfilling, very useful. I go back to her books and her videos many a times. And similarly, coactive. I'm a coactive coach, and they taught me that you need to wear lenses of abundance. When you wear lens of abundance, embracing change, embracing new things becomes much more easier for you, right? So
Nice.
that these are some of my learnings that I thought I must bring to this
No, and
conversation.
thank you for sharing those, because that just completes the entire collection of what exactly would change be. Thank you for sharing your experience. Last when we spoke, there were books that book was in work. So I just want to check with you, how has it been? When can we see an Amit Nagpal best selling already? I'm already calling it best selling. So there you go.
Oh God. Yeah, you've started wearing a lens of abundance.
Thank you.
That's a
There you
very
go.
quick
I
one.
picked.
Yeah, absolutely, Prashant. So this book, because of COVID, it got pushed, and because it got pushed by a year, so I'm adding a couple of more thoughts to it, and my publisher has encouraged me to look at change, and I'm adding a chapter of change management with a clear deadline that this book is going to be released on 7th September this
Super.
year. And watch out for this book. And
So let me
yeah,
take the
that's
bragging
what I think.
rights of your book announced on this podcast, and let me put you on a spot saying that whenever you launch, you come on the podcast and talk about the book.
I will certainly. Thank you for the invite, Prashant. I'll certainly do that.
Superb.
And
No,
yeah,
I
yeah.
wish you all the best for the book.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prashant.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now we move to another section of this podcast, and you don't. It's a rapid fire round. You don't win a hamper,
Oh, God.
but what you win is any drink that you have, chai, coffee, or any drink is on me whenever we catch up.
Oh, lovely. I would certainly love to meet you in person and have a cup of coffee together. Certainly.
Superb. So it's very simple. There's no competition, so you're winning for sure. So here comes the first question. Uh, if someone wakes you up in your deep sleep, middle of the night, and asks you to deliver a session, what would be that session about?
Well, it'll be about need to focus on the whole, right? and being mindful, being purposeful, having a mindset of abundance around you and growth around you, and leveraging your existing strengths, and leveraging them to the analogy of pearls. Each one of us has certain pearls,
Yeah.
innate talents. Leverage on those talents, keep shining those pearls, and then become a holistic leader.
Thanks. That was a good
That's
answer.
simple.
Thank you. All right. Your recommendation for a podcast, movie, or a book? Do you listen to podcasts?
Yes, I do listen to podcasts. I listen into Simon Sinek. I listen into I do a lot of audiobooks, Prashant. So I listen into a lot of audiobooks.
Nice.
Um, Brené Brown, Patrick Lencioni,
Yeah.
Carl Newport, Daniel Goleman, David Rock, and of course Khushwant Singh. I
Yeah.
enjoy Khushwant Singh's writing. So I enjoy Devdutt Patnaik. And several other Indian
There's
authors
a good
as well.
variety you just mentioned.
Yeah, I listen into and read variety of authors. Yeah, and I'm a movie buff as well, Prashant. So I I
Oh,
just
okay.
can't live without a movie,
Any
at least one
recommendations
or two
there?
movies in a week. Yeah, so uh, all kinds of genres, all kinds of movies I watch, but films. If since we are talking about change management and leadership, George Clooney's movie Up in the Air, that
Hmm.
teaches us
Nice.
so much in terms of, it teaches us empathy, it teaches us quick thinking, it teaches us so many things. And Robert De Niro's in turn. Uh,
Lovely.
about mindset of compassion, hope,
Yeah.
abundance, zeal to learn new skills while focusing on your core strengths, um, listening skills, so many
Super.
things.
Yo,
Yeah, so
that
these are
that
some
movie
of the main.
is just amazing. So thanks, Amit. It's been amazing for me, and I've been wanting to do this episode with you for quite some time. Yeah. Thank you.
It's a pleasure, Prashant. I learned so much from my peers, from my juniors and seniors, and it's always a pleasure talking to you. And you bring in a repertoire of so many skills, so many competencies and experiences that you share. And I follow you on your Instagram and on your
Yes.
Facebook posts, and the love that you share with your dog, with your daughter, and love for nature, your photography. So good job. Thank you, Prashant, for having me.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
There you go. Bye bye.
Bye.